How's it going, my G's? And special shout out to all of my Elite Squad members on Patreon because I've made a new bass for you guys today called the Elite Wobble. Let's have a quick listen to the loop and then we'll look into the patch and I'll show you a couple of little tips with Vital, believe it or not. Let's get into it. So it's this bass here I've made and it actually goes up and down in speed of wobble. And before we get into that, thanks a lot for everyone who's already subscribed. If you haven't, I really appreciate it if you want to press that button, because once we get to 1.5k, I'm going to drop a free preset pack for all of you guys. Also, if you're not following me on Instagram, definitely check it out, because then you can see exactly what spices I put in my curry every evening. So that's really important. I do some production tutorials on there as well sometimes, especially on Tuesdays. And yeah, apart from that, check out the other links down below. If you want to book a production lesson with me, you can now just book yourself in whenever you like, get some package deals. But anyway, let's listen to the Elite Wobble bass that I've made today. And the main way that I've done it is to create an LFO with all this kind of movement going on. And I just started very simply just to get the kind of rhythm. If I turn all these effects off, I just put them down there so I know which ones are on. And I just started with a saw wave. And all we do is we put the LFO2 onto the level. So it's just going on and off with the volume. And it's on the seconds mode, so it's all off the grid. So we're going to do it all by ear. And then we simply just drag LFO3. You got to make sure you clicked on LFO2 and then drag the LFO3 box onto the seconds here, which is what I've done. And then I've just turned it up a little bit, 0.0077. And now on this LFO3 here, I'm going to change it to sync mode so that over the course of the loop, it's going to just, play what we've got here. We've got a 4-bar loop going. And so now I can control exactly how many wobbles I want per section, just by having the line near the top. It's going to be faster, and down the bottom it's going to be slower. So I'm going up and down in speed over the course of the 4-bar loop. Nothing absolutely revolutionary. This can be done on other synths as well, but I just love Vital, you know that. And yeah, I'm going to jump into the other oscillators. So I kind of started with the saw wave, and then I threw in a bit of sub underneath, and again we've got the level mapped on here as well. And then the next thing I did was oscillator 3. I put in another sine wave, but it's like an octave up from the sub, so it's like the kind of sub harmonic almost. With a bit of ring modulation from the sampled white noise, so we get a bit of extra high end going on. And what you can see I've actually left them all kind of on one unison voice for this particular sound because it just sounded better, but I'm going to widen it now using like some chorus. But the other thing I did was to make sure the phase was all on 0, so they always start at the same time. You don't always have to do this with every synth, but you kind of just can test it and see, if you want that consistent sound every time. And on this one, I kind of wanted that consistency. So the other thing I did was to also put on this formant mode here, so I can bend the saw wave a little bit, so we can kind of make those harmonics move around a bit, so they're not quite as static. And it just makes the patch look a little bit nicer, doesn't it? You can see some movement going on here, which is really fantastic for everyone involved in watching this video. So yeah, hi. Then I've added some chorus. This is really giving that nice kind of warm width to the sound. You know what a chorus does, but yeah, I think the Vital one just sounds really, really great. I just absolutely love it. If it was a girl, I'd probably marry her chorus. Got a bit of soft clipping going on, a bit of compression to kind of boost the high end a little bit, and then a touch of reverb, which is on our LFO3 here, the one that goes up and down over time. I actually kind of bring in and out a bit of reverb and a bit of compression over the course of the loop, and yeah, it just makes things a little bit more interesting. And one last thing I've also done is I've also boosted the low end using the LFO2, so we got this kind of increased bounciness in the low end because it was kind of lacking a little bit of bass. And then finally, sorry, I did do one extra thing after that, which is a bit of filtering. It's kind of mixed in a little bit on the LFO2, so it kind of comes up and down quite quickly. And then it also, on the LFO3, on our slower one, it goes up and down across the cutoff. So we've got a few different things that are happening over the course of the loop to keep it a little bit more interesting. You can hear the reverb kind of comes always at the bottom, so it sort of starts with a bit of reverb, then as we get to the top it kind of gets a bit dry, and then it comes back down again to finish off with a bit of reverb again. But I think it's really nice when you employ this technique and create your own kind of wobble progression off the grid using these seconds. So I highly suggest you give it a go, and if you've ever done it before, or if you want to give it a go, and then like leave a comment down below just to see how you got on. It's good for the algorithm, and also I'm quite interested to know if this is the kind of bass that you guys have already kind of tried making before. So if we play that again, back with our beat, I've already sort of done the settings, so it kind of is in time for me, or at least how I would like it. I've got a couple of other tips what I would do after that as well. So obviously in terms of the musical kind of progression, I've got this kind of stab, which is like the call, and then this kind of LFO bass is like the response. But during this response, there's a couple of extra stabs that come in here. And if you pay attention, I've actually sidechained them using the glue compressor. So the wobble like kind of ducks out really quickly when we have these extra stabs here. So if you can kind of listen to that. So I'm going to call these like I don't want to say the interrupters, it could be an interrupter, because when you're approaching, making interesting grooves and melodies, you want to have sometimes these kind of interrupting sounds that kind of break things up a bit to get like a little bit more complexity. So it's not just a call and a response, it's a call, a response with some interruptions during the response. So that's quite interesting for the human race. Now, of course, I could do something else. I could go on a bit further and bounce this out. And, obviously we've had these. I might need to copy over the side chain. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll put that on again anyway. And yeah, what we could do now is we could also have some random volume gaps. How could we call them? Like bypass, some bypassing. No, some dips, some chip and dips, some sour cream dips. Yeah, let's put some sour cream dips in. So like a phantom dips. Yeah, this is what I'm going to call it. I'm breaking down music production, right? What we're going to do is we're going to have some phantom dips where there's just going to be a bit of silence kind of in the file. So we got to find a good spot for it, and we want it to be quite subtle. You didn't really even notice it there. Yeah, maybe try about here. I think I want more subtlety. Nope, not there. We got to just test it. Yeah, it could work there. Maybe make it even shorter. Yeah. Yeah, let's go a little bit longer there, and we got a nice kind of. think that's a bit better like that. Yeah, these little kind of volume gaps and these little interruptions throughout this loop, which is changing in speed. Now we've got like 3 different like kind of levels of complexity to that kind of loop now, which we didn't have before. So that's wicked. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, I hope it inspires you to create something similar on your own. And yeah, make sure you're not only watching my tutorials or anyone's tutorials, and make sure you're spending most of your time actually experimenting and practicing your own sound design, because there's only so much you can learn from watching. You have to really go ahead and do it. So crack on with it, guys, and I hope you have a productive day. Peace.